Alright, back at it again with another draft of Spectrum. Let's hop right in. Last time we drafted Affinity. Let's see if we go a different direction today. Our pack one, pick one is not very obvious to me right now. No real huge bombs. I mean, this is an expensive card, but it's nothing to write home about. It's good because it's something you can also play on turn 2 to start milling. What I like would be the Leonin Dengard, with kind of the aggressive equipment theme. We don't really have equipments in this pack that we would like to wheel, so I'm not really, I mean, I guess Mantle of Tides, but it's more white-red than white-blue, the equipment theme. We have a good start for Madness with the Epicure. Not really too much else for Madness. I guess Siphon Essence also creates a blood token, and the Vizier is interested in discarding cards. It's also not really a card I would first pick, as you would need to, you know, main phase pre-combat have something ready to discard and get value to have this attack freely. I like the reanimation deck, but I'm not sure starting with one of the few reanimation cards is a solid idea. Maybe we just speculate on that and see if we can, you know, draft a Reanimator deck. What would even be a card? Probably the Blitz Automaton would be something I would want to reanimate. The Serpent is good, but it's kind of clunky. Maybe it's still better than the Automaton, but you know, this we can play early, attack, you know, add some pressure to the board, maybe block and just have it end up in the graveyard to then be reanimated. The Serpent we would have to set up Affinity to play it or discard it in some other ways. What's there beside that? I mean, there's Fear of Death, which is kind of a solid sorcery speed removal spell. In black, there's not really anything. And for reanimation, we would be interested in black, white, or maybe even blue. Not sure about red, but you know, we don't necessarily need red to play this or reanimate it. Let's just take the Blitz Automaton and see if this mess of a deck can become something. So we do have 2 artifact lands, 3 artifact lands, Rustvale Bridge, Great Furnace, and the Goldmire Bridge. We also have some clunky removal. We do have a reanimation spell, which I think if we pick one the Summon Undead, we should go all in and just try to make the Reanimator happen. Let's just take Late to Dinner, see if we can pick up more bombs. I guess we have a bomb. We also have like a soft reanimation spell. I don't know what we would be getting back for mana value 3 or less. That would be very important to our game plan. This is kind of great also. Not sure if we want the Angler. I think for now we do want bombs. And you know, this mills some cards, maybe discard something else so we can like just dump this out regularly on turn 3 or 4. But I am also interested in the Undertaker just for discarding something and getting back a good creature. Let's just take the Angler for now. Discarding cards is probably going to be something we're interested in, and this could provide great card advantage alongside it. Big Score, obviously great for, you know, getting cards ready in the graveyard for reanimation, but also just, you know, ramping up to 7 mana. You know, play this on turn 4 on your opponent's end step, get through 2 treasures and 3 looks at another land, play another land, and you have 7 mana, just hard cast an Automaton. So I think this is a good choice if we want to go big, not necessarily Reanimator. Renegade Freighter is just great on its own. It's a good cheap threat, but we would need small creatures to crew it. I think let's just go full meme and see if we can make this happen. What else do we have? This is kind of graveyard stuff. This is okay if we have a lot of creatures in our graveyard. The Modern Age is interesting because it loots twice and then it's a creature also. Maybe that's our pick. The Wolverine is good, but it's quite aggressive. I think we're kind of more of a mid-range deck. We're interested in big creatures, reanimation, card filtering, and more than anything else, we're interested in removal, to be honest. Forest Plains Island, that's not helpful. Locked in the Cemetery, 5 or more cards in your graveyard. I think for now, let's just try setting up more with the Modern Age. I mean, it's also a flyer afterwards, a pretty solid flyer. Filling the graveyard, although that's, for my taste, for Reanimator, it's a bit too random, just milling randomly. I prefer looting and rummaging to have card selection. We don't want to mill these cards, for example. We we want to keep those in hand. So I'm more interested in kind of the discard and madness package than the mill package when I want to go Reanimator. And in that vein, maybe just Blood and Mad Vampire, you know? Faithless Looting into this on turn 3, that's good. I'm fine with that. Yeah, maybe just go for that. I mean, we do have a white pick. Maybe we want to go white with some removal, or, you know, just have this in the graveyard, unearth it later. I mean, we're kind of into like just attacking for big damage, and unearthing this for 3 might be good. Right now we're 4 colors. This is kind of a mess of a draft. But what are you going to do? Oh, okay, so there we have our reanimation target. 10-10 reach trample. I don't need to say anything more. Forget about the double blue, double green. We're not going to be hard casting that, I'm pretty sure. Green is absolutely out of the equation for our Reanimator deck. Let's just go full meme, see where that takes us. You know, here we have our sacrifice boy. We could go for a little bit of ramp, but having a creature or an artifact in play is not really something we're going to be reliably able to do. I think it's more between, you know, fixing card advantage and just getting the discard ready. How much do we want to be red? That's also something I'm not quite sure about. We do want to be black, and I think we want to be blue. I'm not quite sure. Blue has Argivian Restoration for, you know, reanimating the Goliath or the Automaton. There are a lot of discard effects in red, but they're also all in red. I think we want to go red just for the early card selection. Nothing really for us here. Maybe the dual land. Resculpt, I don't know, in what world? Resculpt is kind of a weird card because I don't have this go-to scenario where I want to use it. I would want to use it against a Rust Goliath because a 4/4 is much better than a 10/10 trample. But maybe we hate draft it for that reason, I don't know. White-black fixing, let's just take that. Who knows? We're probably going to want to cast the Late for Dinner at one point. Treasures we're also interested in. Chromatic Star, that kind of redraw, card filtering, and fixing. Temporary fixing is something we're interested in. Okay, and speak of the devil there, the Star Wield. I mean, the mirror is good just to gum up the board. You know, it can block and kill a 3 toughness creature. But I think the fixing, with our 4 colors here, the fixing is very valuable, and we should go for that. White, blue, all right, let's do it. Let's do that. Let's do that. I'm into the fixing. What do we have here? Forest? No, we don't need to. Plains or island? I think that's too narrow. We'll just take the ramp, and we're not going to be playing the harpy. Maybe we clean up down here a little bit. You know, we're not going to be playing that. Scrapwork cohort, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure about this either. You know, this is kind of all over the place, to be honest. The Rust Goliath can go up here. We kind of have 2 reanimation targets. I'm not sure if the angler or something I necessarily discard and reanimate. Here we have some discard. I guess this is also discard, and it can also ramp a little bit. This is great for discarding and getting it back later, but we're not really, I'm not sure if we have that much card advantage to really abuse it. We can just use it. Faithless Salvaging is kind of great, although we're more interested in that if we want to madness out more expensive spells. You know, if you have madness 3 or 4, you're really interested in this, but we're looking to just set up. We can set up, you know, sorcery speed, turn 3, turn 2, set something up, dump something in the graveyard, turn 4, get it back. Not sure if the salvaging is necessarily something we need for that. This is kind of a tough pick. We also have removal that does have madness. You know, this madness cost is kind of enormous, but maybe just the early removal at this point. I mean, these are all cards we could be playing. Gathen Raiders, Terminal, Salvaging, even the Border Post and the Stitchwing would be something we could play. But I think the early removal is something we're really lacking right now. Assistant is interesting here, but again, I don't like milling in these types of decks because we have only so much reanimation cards. So once the Goliath is in our hand or in the graveyard, we need one of these cards to do anything with it. Otherwise, you know, when are we going to get to 10 mana? Never. So in that vein, you know, kind of expensive looting, but this is also just a good card, and we just have the double loot. I mean, this is instant speed, which kind of makes it a bit more flexible. We can play this alongside some removal spells, or, you know, keeping up something else, although right now we don't really have anything else. Maybe just in the wind, you know, discard it early get a free card. I'm not quite sure. There's a lot of these effects. There's not too many madness cards in the cube. Maybe for now I just go for the madness. Let's see what happens. Okay, here we have a rummager that's very reliable. What else do we have? Not really too much. Lots of green. A little bit of white. I mean, Inspector's not really something we're interested in. The treasure is kind of ramp, I guess, but we don't have the cheap creatures to go alongside it. At least we don't really have any that want to start attacking. I think this is just a very safe goblin picker. What else we got here? Rotting Rats. I love that card. Really underrated. You want to be discarding, so you don't mind getting to discard a card, but it also gets a card of your opponent's hand. And you can dump this early. You know, I don't know, play a Epicure, discard the rats because you don't have anything to set up in your graveyard right now. Just dump it, draw a new card, and then later you can still unearth it and set something up. I think this is very underrated. Dark Withering, also great, although, you know, we do need to discard it to play it. What do we have? Modern Age, Epicure. We have the picker, big score. I mean, we do have a lot of options for discarding it. You know, the Rotting Rats probably will wheel. The Necromass is good also, but we already have the Angler. It's quite similar. I think we'll just go with the Dark Withering. What do we have here? We have a discard spell. We have something to play out of the graveyard. We have another great discard spell. Wow, this is really good. I think this is exactly what we want early in the game. So we're probably Grixis splashing late for dinner, which we can already do pretty well with the 2-3 white sources, even 4 with the Thopter. So yeah, let's just maybe take this and hopefully wheel Thrill or Binding Geist. Here we have another big artifact creature, although I'm not as taken by this one. Okay, I think Exhume will be our pick. Probably the best removal spell in the cube. Wow, 2 affinity cards, man. 3. Oh, Jesus Christ, okay. Yeah, the bots are really not into these cards, I guess. They just don't like him. Mogus's Favor we can play from the graveyard, power up or, you know, big threats, or remove a small creature our opponent controls. So I think the free redraw with Street Wraith is great. And, you know, if push comes to shove, you know, I'll get back a 3/4 Swamp Walk on turn 4. And just this, I mean, I drew a card of it as well. It's not the worst thing. What do we have here? Ooh, Remorse. Here we have the Restoration, and the question is, are we going to be reanimating artifacts or just creatures? We haven't seen the Mirror Shell Crab. Maybe that will come around, because then we'd have 3 big artifact creatures that we can reanimate. There's also just the Looting, which is a safe pick, or the Remorse. Deep Analysis also. Wow, these are 4 very powerful picks. I think this is the most controversial of them. Picking this would mean, yeah, we have our 4th and final probably reanimation spell, but it's also a huge commitment to just artifact creatures, you know. At that point, Gurmag Angler is not something I would discard. It's probably something I would keep in hand. Turn 4, get back a 6/4 haste. Also, just it doesn't necessarily win you the game, but, you know, maybe I'm just in it for the memes and we'll take this, you know. I mean, there is a world where these other 3 cards are safer and better picks, but we'll see it when we see it. I guess the Salvaging Wield. Maybe we want the Terramorphic Expanse for fixing. We kind of want early, what do we want? Red, blue, red and blue. Because the black cards we can just, those are kind of for later in the game. I think there's a lot of these going around, but we already saw quite a few of these effects, so maybe just picking up one is good. I guess here's the second one. Nothing really here for us. Maybe the Rapier, not really. Alright, blue-black fixing, I like that. Making a creature indestructible, also valuable, but I think we do need the fixing at this moment. And I guess this is kind of a free pick. War Plow, I'm not sure if I'm going to be playing that, but I guess it's a solid backup. 4/5 Death Touch. Alright, so pack 3, let's just clean up a bit here. I don't think this needs to be up there. The Rapier is not going into our deck. The Warplow probably either. Alright, what do we have here for discarding? We have fixing, that's good. We have a Madness spell. we have, I guess we have more Madness. Madness card and an enabler. Tolarian Terror. We do have a lot of spells, don't we? Just the wind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We do kind of have a lot of them. Getting that back, I mean, it does have ward. It's kind of a good reanimation target as well. Maybe I just take that. Bone shards. That's a big one. That's a big one. Death of a Thousand Stings is also great with these repeatable loot effects where we can just, get it back. We just need to have more cards in our hand than the opponent, which is not terribly difficult because this cube is very low, has a very low mana curve, It's really easy to dump your hand on turn 4 or 5. But I think Bone Shards is just so great. It's flexible. We can also just sacrifice an Ornithopter if we want to keep our hand as it is and just destroy a creature. After that, I think it would be one of these 2 cards, which I would be interested in. But let's just take the Bone Shards. Well, obviously we get another removal spell and a third one. Wow, okay. We have another discard outlet. We can also play from the graveyard. We have more kind of stuff we can get out of the graveyard. We have Fixing. What is this? Fix Island, Swamp Mountain. I guess the Evolving Wilds is kind of just a little bit better because it does get the single planes. But I really, how many discard outlets do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I guess 8. I guess we kind of have enough. So the hardest ploy is not really something we're interested in. Madnessing this out might be difficult. I think this is just the more flexible card, It looks more flashy, but really it kills untapped creatures. And it costs red as well. And it costs 4 mana if you can't madness this out. I think Murderous Compulsion is just the better option. I'll just take that for now. So we're doing good on removal. We're doing good on discard outlets. I think this deck is shaping up quite well, to be honest. We have 2 discard outlets. We have a Madness card. We have another removal spell that goes well with Madness. We're really... Even a third one. Jesus. Okay, let's just maybe take the Lightning Axe. How much removal do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess this is removal, 5, 6. Although maybe that we don't even need to play Icarus Lick. We pick up all these premium Madness removal spells. Yeah, just maybe that. 2/2 Flying Haste. How important is that? I mean, if we get back 10/10s, 2/2 Flying Haste is not sure if that's something to write home about. I just love me a Lightning Axe. Ooh, Dragon Wings. That's a good one. So I think all our reanimation targets and the, Angler and Terror, those are all CMC 6 or higher. And Dragon Wings just is so great with that. You can just cycle that on turn 2, draw a new card and just have it ready for your mid and late game. Yeah, that should be it. Otherworldly Gaze is good. It's not milled because you do choose what gets milled. Corpse Churn is definitely not what I want to take. I think after the Dragon Wings, it would be Otherworldly Gaze. Maybe we were even lucky and get to wheel it. All right, here we have Mirror Shell Crab. That's why I took the Restoration, because I love just keeping up the counterspell and then reanimating it. Ward 3 is a tough nut to crack, to be honest. It's not too easy to get that removed. And yeah, I think now we're all set up with our deck. Wow, we even got more discard outlets. What else? Treasure Cruise is great. Right, what do we have for Treasure Cruise? I guess Gurmic Angler is kind of clashes a little bit with it. Treasure Cruise or Fixing, or just setting up the graveyard. Although at one point we're probably not interested in sacrificing this and getting back 2 creatures. Would be more interested in Treasure Cruise. I think at this point we kind of need Fixing. We have the Border Post. Let's get the Street Wraith over here, the Star. But I think a little bit more Fixing couldn't hurt. Yeah, Scavenger is kind of a weaker choice for Delve. Maybe just the Prism, although I'm doubtful that I'll be playing the Prism. I think it's just, we're not really interested in artifacts. All right, I think here, Reckless Worm is good, don't get me wrong, but what do we have to set it up? We have 1 mana set up, a 1 mana set up. I guess it's 0. We could play this turn 2 and turn 3 a Reckless Worm. That's also, great pressure. Maybe that's just the pick, have some backup pressure besides our reanimation target. So are we kind of the grindy card advantage madness deck? I don't really think so, to be honest. Maybe Grave Scrabbler? What do we get back? I mean, get back a Street Wraith, draw an extra card. 2 mana, 2/2, draw a card. Lose 2 lives. Not too bad. I think this is just not, forget the 5 mana cost. This is just get a card back at the beginning of your turn if you have a lot of cards in hand. And I think I do like the Scrabbler a bit more. And here, we get back the Fixing. This is a discard outlet, but I don't think it's what we're looking for. We just take the Evolving Wilds, and I guess we got back the Imp. Here, nothing in our pack. I guess the other cards didn't really wheel. We did get the Blood Fountain, but I'm not quite sure if we're gonna end up playing it. Alright, so let's start deck building where we have all our lands. We have 1, 2, 3 white sources, 4, 5 white sources. I guess with a prism even more. I don't think really we're going to be playing the cohort. We do have a lot of good playables. We have 4 good cards to get back. Only one of them we can't hardcast. What do we have? Only Late for Dinner is kind of a white card. We do have a free early blocker. This can definitely, some of these they can go. Rancor, Spreadworks Brawler. Alright, so up for debate is definitely this and that. And this is kind of free. Dark Withering, Gurmag Angler. Ornithopter. Man, these are all pretty great cards. What's up with our removal spells? What do we have? 1, 2 good ones, 3, 4, 5 good ones, 5.5. I'm not sure we need this. We have the discard, we have the worm. Unfortunately, we can't big score into the worm because we get the treasures after madness goes onto the stack. 16, 18, 21, 22, 26. That's way too much. I mean, even with all the card filtering and redraws we have, it's too much. So I think these are definitely going to go. And we're going to be making a few more cuts. Not sure how I feel about the Just in the Wind. It's kind of a tempo play. I mean, we do need some time to just set up a big thing. The crab can just block whatever they have on the ground, and before that we can, buy time with Just in the Wind. It's also just kind of a free spell with these discard outlets. Difficult choice. We'll put the Angler up here so we know where we have our stuff. We have our reanimation spells. We have our discard outlets here. Maybe the Ornithopter, to be honest. I'm not sure we need the ramp. We're not really like a combo deck in that sense. We're just gonna get like a 5-power creature with ward. Not sure if ramping into a reanimation spell is necessarily what we need to do. Discard outlet. This kind of also is one. And we have kind of this removal package here. The star I like is easy to include just because it's a redraw. I think if you have enough, these, like 2 or 3 of these chromatic stars, Street Wraith, prophetic prism type of cards, you can just, maybe cut 1 land, go from 17 lands to 16 lands. But you can't really do that too much. Where are we looking at here? 9, 10, 17, 21, 26 still, I think. All right, now I'm looking at the Ornithopter. Not sure if just like these random madness cards are good enough, if we're maybe interested in more impactful things. Yeah, I think maybe just cut this and the Ornithopter, and then we're looking at something proper here. Let's just get back our curve and see how we're looking. 2, 3, 4, 5, and our finishers. I mean, that looks good, to be honest. We have our Street Wraith. I guess we can put that over here. We have some fixing. Kind of need a lot of mountains here. It's the only downside. But yeah, I think that there we have it for our Reanimator deck. Honestly, to be honest, I just kind of want to add basic lands. What do you have here? 30 cards because this is not in our deck. 30 cards, we need 10 lands. We definitely need a plains to find with our Evolving Wilds. We don't need green, we need these 3 colors. Maybe let him calculate. No plains, no, that's not something we can do. 5, 5, and 5, that's so wrong. We need 10 lands in total. Maybe we just 1, 3, 3, 3. And see. 1, 3, 3, 3. Yeah, I think that looks good. We do want black here, 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 here. 4 cards. They really do need black. We have 6, 7 cards that need red, and 1, 2, 3, 4 double pip blue. Yeah, okay, we do definitely need the triple blue. I guess we have more blue over here. We have few red and black. We have 1 black source, 2 black sources. Yeah, but I think we're set up here. Let's just call this, what do we want to call it? Grixis Reanimator, with, I guess, with some madness in there. Let's save the deck and take a look at a sample hand here. All right, I had to take out the Conspiracy card because Q-Pro thinks that's a card we're gonna have in our opener, which is definitely not the case. We have red and a second color, which I guess would be blue, to then hopefully find black and get to play Kitchen Imp. Dump this, you know, maybe on turn 2 with blue, just play this, dump that. What else are we gonna draw? White, okay, okay, there's our blue. There's some black. I mean, this could be a solid hand. Madness this out early, maybe just hard cast the Compulsion. And then for 4 or 5 mana, play an Angler. And if we draw into Reanimation, we have the Goliath to go with it. Let's look at another hand. I mean, this is a free redraw. Let's just add 1 more card to it. We have white and blue, and I guess 1 more color once. We get the extra draw. Then our first draw is the Electric Revelations. Not too great. We don't really have a turn 2 play. We have the star, and then we just need something for Revelation. Yeah, this wouldn't be a too great hand. What do we have here? No red, but everything else. We have a redraw here. Kind of have interaction up here. We don't have a discard outlet. Here's 1 and another one. This would be a solid card, you know. Control the board early on, and then hopefully draw into something to reanimate these. Otherwise, we can also just hardcast a 4/4 Flying Haste. So yeah, that's our deck. Remember, this is Pauper. The decks are never going to be broken or something, but I think this is a pretty fun, wacky brew. This is definitely not a usual deck I would be drafting or building, but I was always interested in seeing if, you know, this Reanimator shell can really come together, and I think we got pretty close.